Welcome back to World College Poker. Alec Rome here, as always, this time with a up-and-coming group of star poker players. It's Rosie, it's Jello, it's Frankie, it's the next-gen poker boys. You can find them on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere where you can find content. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
That was an awesome intro, Alec.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great.
I'm very excited. It's kind of fun because, I think talking to y'all, our stories in a way of how you got into poker and how I got into poker parallel a little bit. And I think it's also good for a lot of the college players we're trying to reach to see somebody that they can relate to and sort of that journey from going from a beginner to a winner. And I guess I wanted to go back to start it where it began. I believe y'all started off in a fraternity house, basically, playing with each other, playing with the basic chips, all that sort of thing. Take me back. How did you start in the game? And talk about the overall vibes in those first couple months of playing with each other and with buddies.
I'll jump in on that, guys. Yeah, we all joined the same fraternity freshman year. It was SIGEP at SMU in Dallas. And it was the fraternity pool table with the Amazon.com basic poker set. I think we did a $5 max buy-in, something like that, 2 cent, 5 cent. And it was just playing with our buddies. And what soon ended up happening is Jello, Frankie, and I were the first 3 to show up to play the games, and we were the last 3 standing at the end of the games. So we kind of navigated the fraternity poker scene together and kind of learned how to take our talents to the top of the fraternity level.
And speaking of, the next transition obviously would be we all shared our first trips to the casinos together. And thankfully, we are within an hour and 20 minutes of an 18-plus casino, the biggest in the world, actually, WinStar Casino. And we all got to just go with our $200 and just kind of figure out where we sat, where we were compared to everyone else. And, we were pretty low in the totem pole, but at least we had each other to figure that out, and we had our run goods as well, so that kind of got us hooked. We would come back with our a couple $100 won from WinStar, and immediately we were just I want to go back all the time, and we couldn't because of school. But yeah, safe to say we were on poker's hook.
Yeah, so that kind of got us into vlogging. How we started going to the casinos. We were always fans of all the other popular vloggers like Brad Owen, Andrew Nemi, to name a few. So we decided to start trying it out ourselves. We took a shot and started filming some. We were so bad back then. We're still not great, but we had no clue what we were doing. And we just walked in the casino, camera up, and ready to go and test it out.
Hey, it's worked out pretty well so far. We'll get to lots of things, but I wanted to go back to the point that I was thinking of too, is how young people get into the game. I can remember personally when I was young, sitting in front of my television and watching World Series of Poker main event in the summer. That was the deal. So I guess my question for you, was that the same way that you got inspired in the game from the classic television, or was it more of the modern, maybe YouTube, like you said, Brad Owen, Andrew Nemi, sort of you found it one day on YouTube and just kept going, and that's how you got started? Because it seems like it's changing. That WSOP doesn't seem to be the inspiration necessarily for younger people anymore.
I'm assuming we all maybe have slightly different perspectives on that question, but for me, I definitely have early memories of watching WSOP tournaments, especially the main event. So I was definitely familiar, and I was drawn to it because I just saw, millions of dollars up top. So that drew me in without actually knowing really how to play, and never actually getting into it back when I was in high school. But when I went to college, and I basically had that as a distant memory, I would say. And then when we started playing for, $5, $10, I was like, wow, I want to, be good. I want to always win those $5. I don't want to lose my $5. I'm competitive like that. And I would just start YouTubing some of the people I remember. And I kind of learned about Daniel Negreanu, Phil Hellmuth. But then those recommended videos would bring me to the poker vloggers. And, they were more 1-2, because that's what I was trying to find, smaller. Because I knew I only had $100, $200 to play with at the beginning. So yeah, I started immediately watching them, and then I would just binge watch all of them. And then I guess after you binge watch enough of them, you're pretty hooked into poker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally. For me, I actually, similar story as Frankie, but I started as a blackjack player. My goal was to be a card counter, because I always wanted to beat the casino,
Mm-hmm.
Soon found out that that's basically impossible with blackjack nowadays. So did some research. What's the one game where you can continuously walk out of the casino with more money than you came in with? That's poker. And that's kind of how I got started going down that rabbit hole that Frankie was talking about.
Did you watch that movie 21, right? That blackjack. Yep. I watched that. I had the same aspirations. And then I realized that was very difficult.
Yeah, I actually started playing back in high school. I played with a bunch of my buddies. We would have poker tournaments at each one of us would take turns hosting, and we play like a $5 or $10 poker tournament. None of us had any clue what we were doing, but I slowly learned from that. I didn't really end up watching too much of the WSOP, but later on going into college is when I started watching that.
So yeah, that's so interesting. It's like basically 3 different paths for y'all to come together essentially and find that community in each other, and then this common goal of like, hey, let's run it up, hey, let's record what we're doing, all those sorts of things. How else have you found like community in this game? Because it seems like this is an example that, you know, other college students can look at as like people coming from different backgrounds coming together, something they enjoy, particularly the special things about this game. So how did you find that community, and how has it had come to you?
I'll start us off. We found that community right when we posted the very first video. Immediately, the community found us. Actually, we had to just post one video saying we're at Choctaw. We just started. Here we are. Watch, and they found us immediately. Like we just immediately got 3,000 views. I was so surprised by that, and we already had like 150 subscribers in a week. And I was like something I don't even know the numbers, but I was so amazed that how quickly they just found us and they were attracted to new vloggers. And our editing was definitely not great to start. So they really just drawn to our personalities, and that was cool. And talking to everyone at the poker tables, and then as we started getting, you know, more people to follow us, every time we go, it's like I'm talking to like a new potential friend, and like someone new in the community who's like coming up to me and saying, hey, I've seen this. We have hands to talk about. So it's really friendly, and poker has like a reputation for maybe like people would be more afraid to step in a casino. And now that we have next gen, it is like the complete opposite. I'm like walking into an amusement park, basically, now to see a bunch of people, you know, and it's like so exciting. And next gen has brought that to us totally. And I think poker would be great if we didn't have this. But this has just excelled the opportunities and people that we've met, and them telling us, you have to check this out, you have to try this. And everyone wants you to try new things and experience what they've seen themselves in the game.
Yeah, we've also had some really cool connections. One, for instance, was TCH Austin. The people who take care of that and do live streams, and what's the team called? What's games?
ATX Poker Team.
ATX Poker Team. I couldn't think of it off the top of my head, but they reached out to us. They served as like a great role model, almost like kind of took us under their wing, helped host a meetup game for us down in Austin. That was really cool, just getting to see how like poker pros and people who play way higher stakes, have way more experience, are willing to reach out to the young kids who don't know the whole ropes and introduce them to the community in a cool way.
Absolutely, yeah. I was gonna say that's awesome, and I was gonna mention that just recently I know you played. I don't know if it was on stream or not, but you were with Owen and Nimi, right? Pretty recently.
At GCH Dallas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's crazy. Tell me, sitting down at that table with them, were what 2 or 3 years separated from your start, maybe, or maybe even less time. When did you guys start?
We like a year and a half ago.
Year and a half. Okay,
yeah.
Year and a half as college students. Could you ever imagine that would be where you'd end up? Is sitting with 2 of the most famous poker bloggers in the community right now.
Not only did we not imagine sitting across from them at the poker table, but the fact that we sat across from them at the poker table and Andrew Nemi says to me that he's seen our stuff before. Like, just that added element. Like, yeah, I'm sitting in a 2-5 game with $1,000 in front of me when we were playing $5 games at the frat house. But the fact that they know we exist even was just like, wow, it's very surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we really got, I mean, we'll walk in and we're like, wow, I can't believe we're doing this. And it was our first 2-5 experience. But I mean, the opportunities that we've gotten from this channel, like what has seemed impossible has become possible. So, you know, I'm excited to see, you know, as we only 8 months in this journey, you know, as we keep going, what the new opportunities that we're gonna find, and really that finds us. Like we are just living our life, going to school, and these opportunities find us, and that's what's great about the community. They really want to bring us into what they've already seen and had fun with.
Absolutely, yeah. I was gonna say, in that sort of way, it's a unique situation to be a college, poker player, because you have other things that you're balancing with this thing that you love. And I've always found that sometimes people don't understand exactly what it's like to enjoy poker as a hobby. The first thing is always, oh, you're just gambling. Like, you just gamble on the side. You're a degen. And in some ways, you got that little degenerate streak. I do too, right? But at the same time, like, it is still a game. It's still a mental game. It's still an activity. It's a social outing. So what if other students, mentioned, or have they talked to you about what you do at all?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Good. Good, bad, anything like that.
I'll start. I mean, the first thing I hear all the time from my parents, my school friends, everyone, that poker is gambling. Like, oh, you're just going to gamble, and our response a lot of times is just simply, poker isn't gambling. Just because there's math involved, it's some percentage luck, but it's mostly a percentage of skill. And it's a skill-based game, and people don't want to hear that all the time either, because they don't agree with it necessarily, because they've never seen it from our side. But that's just my initial response most of the time to those people. But yeah, we're still degenerates as well.
I mean, when I try to explain to people, I try to just take it from an analytical side, because they know that I do like to have my fun and go to casinos and stuff like that. But I just bring it from analytics, and I say, hey, this is money I have for poker, and it's not degen. It is gambling, but it's not gambling with my financial situation, because we have a bankroll, and it's sweet having friends to talk about that kind of thing. What do we need to have as bankrolls? There's a lot of resources online, but having friends to actually have the same amount of similar bankrolls as you, it's hard to have a friend who's just super rich and you can just go play 2-5 whenever they want. It's nice to have friends like similar to you, keep you like in check. So I just kind of tell them, guys, like, this is money that we have for poker, and as long as we study and we could beat these guys, because a lot of people are treating it strictly as gambling, and we're treating it as a game that we love and we want to learn, and basically a game that you can get an edge, and we see that with players like Jonathan Little, and just an extreme edge and make thousands of dollars every year. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it is weird that it's almost like golfing in a way. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's stupid. Why would you watch it? Boring as hell. Why would you watch on TV?" Until you go out and golf, realize that you suck, and then you go back on TV and you're like, "Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, that's actually impressive and cool at the same time that you're able to do that on such a basis too," which is, I think, an interesting thing that I think World College Poker is trying to do, which is break it and classify this as almost an esport on the same level as chess, but it's still fun enough to where I could never beat Hikaru or Magnus in chess ever, but anybody can beat somebody at poker on any given day, which I think is kind of the attraction of the game in a way, and attraction to beginners. Did you feel when you were learning the game that at least the ability to just get in and play with buddies and start from a beginner level was somewhat comforting? Like there is like that study sort of skill curve, but you could still just play and have fun. Like, was that nice when you were first starting out, that it wasn't that much pressure?
Absolutely. And I mean, the boys know I'm the king of the micro stakes and online. I grinded probably 50,000 hands of 1 penny, 2 penny blinds on America's Card Room. So yeah, no, poker's a very easy game to play with anyone. Like, there's no prerequisite. You don't have to have innate athletic ability. It's just you sit down with a deck of cards. So no, super accessible game. And definitely we felt that there wasn't a lot of pressure on us in the beginning, and we were just playing for fun.
One thing to add to that is, for instance, he mentioned before the poker or the pool table at the frat house. We'd have kids walk down from just going out who had never played poker before. They're having a good time, had gone out, and they
having a good time.
and they sit down and buy in for $10. And what I love about the game is the worst people somehow can still win. And oftentimes those were the people who ended up taking home a bunch of money that night. They buy in, they triple up, and they leave. And they had no clue what they were doing the whole time. So I love how poker, even though the best people win over time, the fish still win, and that's what makes the game great.
And you bet they came back after that. The first time kind of brings you in and it hooks you and kind of fall in love with the game. And we saw a lot of our fraternity members in SIGEP do the same as us, follow a similar path, but like 3 months later, and just like really like it. And then they want to come with us to the casino. We have their first time, so it's like every time we have like everyone's first moment.
Tag along with the cool guys, right? Tag along with the guys who know. Yeah.
Like, so this is the poker room, We'll play Omaha.
Oh man, that's good. I'm here with Rosie, Jello, and Frankie from Next Gen Poker. Alec Rome. I was gonna say, you mentioned Jonathan Little a little bit before. Tell me a little more about maybe some of your poker idols, or we've mentioned a few names, but any more that come to mind as people that you look up to, whether it's style or just the way they handle themselves or anything like that when it comes to the game of poker.
I mean, Frankie, you want to start?
And there's so many names we could say. Recently,
Right.
From Jonathan Little's interview with him and a book, Tommy Angelo, who's a name you don't always get to hear, but he's someone who has really good sense of the game, and he's someone I've been kind of studying off recently. Aspiration wise, like Phil Hellmuth, for just the sheer number of tournament, how many times can he win a tournament? It's crazy.
Bracelets.
That's his basically poker, and what I've come to realize how important this is poker endurance, mental endurance. And it's hard to stay in this game and handle the swings, and to do it for 20 years. I mean, that's pretty motivational.
Yeah, I think for me at least, I mean, you got those guys at the top. I honestly, I like a guy like a Brad Owen or an Andrew Nemi, a guy that doesn't have a bracelet yet necessarily, is kind of playing similar stakes to us. It feels more realistic to watch someone like that, and it feels attainable. Obviously, I think we can get to Phil Hellmuth's level by the end of our careers, but I like to see Brad Owen and Andrew crushing it at the stakes that we're soon to be at,
Right. Go ahead.
Of all time is Tom Dwan.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone else that they mentioned as well, they all hit it on the spot.
No, absolutely. Durr is a legend. On the point there too, how do you handle the swings? How do you handle the losses? Because they do come along. It is a reality. You can't win every time as much as you want to. How do you handle those swings, especially being a regular person with maybe not as big of a bankroll as everybody else? How do you handle that?
I'll take this one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I see.
I've hit some pretty big losses, and I've definitely had to handle that as well as the other two boys here. But recently, I've been working on my mental game, just not getting as tilted. It can definitely be tilting when you get it in good or think you made the right play and you didn't, and you either see yourself making a mistake or be like, oh, why did they win this when you feel like you almost deserve to win. It's a little tilting, and that's definitely something that completely affects your game. At some points, I feel like I can't even play anymore, and I need to leave instead of keep playing because I feel like I won't play my best. So I've been reading this book. Rosie and Frankie have also read it. It's called The Mental Game of Poker by Jared Tendler, and it's a fantastic book. And that's one thing that's really helped just teach us exactly what we want in poker and how to handle the downswings of it, because it is a brutal game. And there's no getting around that, whether you're the best or the worst player, which is kind of cool.
A lot of it is preparation. A lot of it's preparation. If you go in the last $300 you have and you lose that, and you don't really have it prepped in your mind that you have this bankroll of X amount of dollars behind, and that $300 is just a percentage of what your entire bankroll is. So I mean, you gotta come in with that preparation. I didn't do that at the beginning. So that's something that has helped me just deal with it in the moment. And basically, the biggest trick in poker is you got to keep playing your A game all the time, not just at the beginning. And you have to play through the end of the session. You play your A game because that's when the most money you can lose the most money is at the end. So and then just lastly, just talking to each other, huge thing. Just talking to each other. What's on your mind? Yeah, I'm not confident right now. Yeah, well, why? And just having friends. And we have people, like our own mentors, but just having each other has been huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say right what you just said, Frankie. Like poker can be, especially when you're losing, and gambling in general can be a very lonely place when you're down a lot. So being able to have these boys in a group chat where we can yell at each other and get all of our frustration out and calm each other down, to have like that core circle in an industry as tough as this, sometimes it really helps a lot.
Absolutely, and a community of followers too that are rooting. It almost like you have a crowd behind you as well of 5,000, 10,000 people that want to see you succeed. I imagine is also comforting. What else have you learned about life through the game of poker that if you stopped today, you would still carry with you into the beyond?
One thing, I mean, I think that's a phenomenal question, by the way. And Frank and I were talking about it the other day, like how we think we have truly become better people through playing this game. And just, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is learning to turn a loss into a win, in situations where like I get cooler. Yesterday on my birthday, I got it all in with pocket kings versus a guy who had ace king offsuit. He flops an ace. I lose $400. But I got it on camera. I can go flip it, make a TikTok. Maybe it'll do 1 million views. Just being able to kind of turn losses into wins, whether it be from a content creation standpoint or just I learned a lesson, just flipping it like that.
Yeah, we actually did just say that in the car to each other. Like, wow, we're learning a lot just from poker in life. And what I would say that I picked up in this book, and I've really been thinking about it in my day-to-day life is you cannot properly think through a situation if you are emotional. Like it just that part of your brain is blocked out. Your emotions are too high to think. So how could you possibly think about all the variables that go in a hand when you're anywhere tilted? If you're tilted, how could you think about any of the 10, 9, like all the variables that go into one hand? So now bringing that to my life, like if you're in a conversation with someone and maybe your sister or it's about to get heated, you feel your face getting hot or emotions about to rise. Take a breath and think yourself, well, you're not going to think straight if you do get in that elevated emotional sense. So it's like I'm learning something and I'm just trying to study poker. That's all. And now I'm actually like becoming a better like brother, family member, friend too. So I mean that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned, which I'm still in the process of learning through this book that I'm reading, they really focus on it, is just focusing on things that you can control and not things that you can't control. A lot of times you want to be in control of everything, and you can't be because it's physically impossible. Just like in poker, there's too many variables, like Frank said, for you to control all of them. And so it's just important to focus on what you can control, and that's the only things you can do to make yourself get better at anything.
Absolutely, the emotional control and just being, like you said, being a better human almost, and not getting angry at people when you know that it's not going to help anything is a good point. And maybe for Jello, it was learning that to maybe stop playing Big O so much. The swings in Big O, a little too much. I watched him. I see you. The Big O, man, it gets you sometimes.
Don't watch the new vlog.
Oh my God. Yeah, so even on that point, so I guess in the turning the losses into wins point, you just mentioned, Rosie mentioned TikTok. I remember one of the first videos y'all posted on TikTok pulling like 3 million views, and I was like, holy cow. For me, it was like the simplest piece of content. I've seen that piece ever before. Aces, kings, bad beat, whatever. But for people, for some reason, algorithm / people ate it up. Do you think that TikTok might be the next place where maybe people and young people start getting interested into poker? Because that was crazy.
100% yes. The jump that we made to TikTok, we might look back on and say that was the defining moment in the early stages of next gen poker. The virality, like you said, with the algorithm, how it cooks it up, and it just like I remember posting the video, the first one was a bad beat. I lost, and I posted it. First hour did like 20 views. I was like, oh, this was a bust. It was worth a shot. I went to go to a home game with my buddies, and my phone, it literally starts buzzing. Like I go check, and there's new notification, new notification, new notification. I call the boys freaking out. And since then, yeah, we've just been cranking out TikTok. And Frankie, why don't you touch on our latest TikTok development that we've discovered recently?
Well, thank you. This is our TikTok guru right here. So thanks for passing it over to me. Our recent discovery, as he mentioned, it's been these live streams. We've been doing some live streams, and the people that are curious about the game without knowing the rules even it is just, it's awesome. And I get that it's money, and that's obviously going to be enticing to people, but it's a lot of like the personality that goes on with live streaming. Like I mean, I'm just, doing as I do, talk and joke with people around me. The people love it, watching, and just the numbers we received. 1.7 thousand people. We were the number one live stream.
Concurrent viewers.
1.7 thousand concurrent views, which
rivals live stream. Sorry to interrupt. Like the Lodge live stream, TTH Live. Like they're doing 1.6K concurrent views, and Frankie's just sitting there at the casino holding up his phone, talking to people, and it's doing the same. It's insane.
Literally, yeah, crazy, and just like also like, oh, just go follow us, and then just follow immediately. Like it's crazy. So TikTok's been great, and we just try to kind of slow it down for them, and just it really just brings people into how to get started, and it's been awesome for us.
Right. I was just saying on that point too. People might look at you and say, "Wow, how do I even start? Like, how do I get started just like you?" So how do you get started? How do you go from zero to hero? And maybe what were your study sort of learning phases along the way, the study strategies that got you here?
I mean, I would start by saying start before you even step on a table. Watch videos, watch YouTube, watch content, get familiar with terms and poker lingo, the hands, all that stuff, all the good stuff you need to know. And then if you can, play with your friends, because your friends likely don't know either. So you can win at those games still by not being that good, which is awesome. And then maybe move to online low stakes. And eventually when you have the money, don't go until you have the money and you're willing to lose it, because you probably will lose your first few sessions at a casino. I think that's a really important thing to tell people that are just joining like live 1-2 at the lowest stakes you can find at a casino, that they're probably going to lose a few sessions at the start when they don't exactly know what they're doing. And that happened to me. I lost a bunch of sessions in a row at the start, and it was tough. So that's definitely one piece of advice I'd give to people just starting.
Yeah, take it slow. Take it slow. Don't go buy in for money that you'd be upset losing when you know the mistake is you just not knowing what was happening. You gotta know the basics, know the rules, know when it's your turn to act. That kind of stuff at a casino moves really fast, and people expect you to just know what to do all the time. And if you don't, people might get a little frustrated, and that might make you make moves you would never make, and not to do, but you are, because you're a little like anxious, like everyone's going to be the first time sitting down. So just go play with your buddies, or go ask your family, ask your dad, might know poker, just sit down, play with you, kind of know when it's your turn, and be able to identify the positions in poker, and yeah, just start slow.
Yeah, they nailed it. I mean, just don't expect it to be a get rich quick scheme. Poker's a game. It's a long journey. You're not going to win right away. You might not win for a long time. So yeah, just buckle up and enjoy the journey.
You might win a lot right away.
Right.
Also very true. Also very
cross
very
fingers,
true.
right?
Does not mean you're really good yet. Yep. Take it slow.
Yeah, keep the humility too. The good thing I will say is, at least if you do lose money or you don't want to lose money, World College Poker has your back, because we don't charge anything to do these events, and we're putting up massive prizes. Y'all already did one of our tournaments in the fall, and we got this huge worldwide main event coming up here. July 24th is round one. Tell me, what are you excited about for this tournament, this experience? Thanks to Poker Stars. We're partnered with Poker Stars, and we're partnered with you. It's a huge family of people. It's just exciting, electrifying. Tell me about what you're excited about.
I'm going to hand this off to the man who did the best in the fall ball tournament. Joe's going to throw this off. He killed it. He even got some prizes. Okay, what happened?
So
You did well.
I say you're already wearing a hat. That hat. Yeah, I was say right there. That looks good.
Yeah, I ended up making a little run. I made it to the final table in one of the divisions. So I didn't end up making it to the final table. Unfortunately, didn't get $10,000 for the prizes like that first place guy did. But I got like a case of CBD water, I think it was, and a backpack as well as a hat. So a few other cool prizes. I didn't have to pay anything to join, and it was really fun playing it.
Oh, and one of our subscribers messaged us that he made the final table. I think he either got second or third, and he was so hyped, which got us excited. Especially for this one upcoming, the prizes are even more prizes because there's going to be more entries. But it's only college players, so that's what right. I'm most excited about. Because like I know that all college players, they couldn't be playing more than 18 to 26 years of poker, and they're not playing when they're born. So what I'm saying is like we're gonna have pretty equal experience. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to tell all my boys to sign up right now and just get into it. Just set the date. July 24th is the start, but registration ends July 22nd. So just sign up right now and compete with us because I'm gonna be balls to the wall going for that prize. I want first place gets a heads up match against Patrick Antonius. I mean, heads up match versus Patrick Antonius. If I do like a stare, like I'm gonna bet and stare him down, I'm just gonna fold. Like I don't know like how I'm gonna react to that. Like so, I'm gunning for first. You're gonna have to try to take me out, but you have equal opportunity, and yeah, completely free, thankfully. Very free.
It's Christmas come early. I mean, you look at the list of prizes, you think there has to be a catch or something. No, completely free. Just sign up and do it. Like total no brainer. I can't wait.
I'm excited for the final table. I'd rather make the final table than get any of the prizes. That trip to wherever the surprise destination is going to be awesome. Have the final table be hosted there is just going to be
and live stream
and a potential. I think first place also gets a ticket in the EPT.
They get a whole prize package.
Yeah, so, that is so cool.
Yeah,
that would be a dream to play in that tournament.
Yeah, that's that sounds so good.
Yep, I'm going for it too. I'll be right there on the felt because that sounds good. That sounds good. That's gonna be fun. And two, it's like the perfect entry event. Like they all said, it's free, it's low pressure, you risk nothing. It's like if you wanted to pick any moment in time to start the game, it is right here, right now. Checking out the prizes at worldcollegepoker.com, just signing up, scan your student ID, all that. It's perfect, and I think you will enjoy playing with these gentlemen during that. Before I let you go, I have one other question because I'm interested to know, what are your future aspirations? Do you plan on grinding the 2-5 stakes for the rest of your lives, or trying to go to the World Series of Poker, win bracelets, or do you have any hopes and dreams or a degree that you might want to pursue a career in?
This is a question we're asked a lot. We
Absolutely.
are going to go into our senior year of college. We're about to hit the real world. So for me, at least, I mean, we can each go, but I think the goal is to get to the top of poker. Like, absolutely. Bracelets, we're WSOP trips, not just the 2-5 stakes, all the way to the top. But to have next-gen poker be right along with it. Poker's a very swingy game. There you go, Frankie,
right
nextgenpoker.com. Poker's a very swingy game. You can have, if you're a professional, you can have days where you have negative income. And I don't like the sound of that. I also don't like the sound of working a 9 to 5. Neither do these boys. So just to have next gen poker to kind of be that supplementary income, let's ride both to the top. Why not?
Yeah, next gen stock to the moon. That's what they're all. That's what all the kids are saying. Yeah. I don't say it, but they say. Basically, the goal is to go to the top, like already said. We're going to continue our senior year at SMU. We're going to finish it off strong, all of us. We're both getting engineering majors, Rosie's finance. So obviously those are very important to us. And at the same time, we're going to balance next gen. I mean, we've done it for 8 months, and this summer we've been able to produce way more content because our jobs allow us more time than school actually did because of all the homework and tests. So, I mean, we've been pumping out content. We're going to keep going with next gen and get our degrees and have that as a very, very, very strong backup plan.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't touch on that enough. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Frankie's right too.
So, but at the same time, we're going to post next gen stuff because that's what we love doing. and it's not like it is a grind to do everything we do, but it's like it's the late night grind that you like do because you love. So yeah, we're gonna keep writing it out and just take it to the moon.
They killed it.
They killed it. No
Yeah.
more need to be said.
No more.
Gentlemen, you killed it. I appreciate your time. You can check Next Gen Poker out, like I said, everywhere, particularly TikTok and YouTube, the big one, Twitter, Instagram. They're wearing some merch. That looks pretty cool. I'd buy one of those. You can check out their store. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to go play in this tournament, I need to sign up right now, it's worldcollegepoker.com. Simple as it could be. You register, you look at the prizes, you get inspired to play the game. And these three gentlemen, Rosie, Frankie, Jello, very inspiring.
Thank
gentlemen,
you so much.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Alec Rum saying bye-bye for now for World College Poker.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Alec.
See you guys.